Yeah, me again, and back sooner than I possibly anticipated. You know, you say these things and get nice comments. You think, oh, shall I do this? But what I thought I'd do actually, because I suddenly realised that I was going to talk about the setting up of things and what I've been doing and how things are going and all that for those who may be interested. Suddenly realised I actually made a video about July of last year actually, which was called the Re-Invention of Andy, because it was talking about some of the things that I'd done since I left work and all that was sort of made redundant, which is getting on for 4 years ago, which is mind-blowing in itself and quite scary in other ways at how time flies. But in that I was talking about how we'd set up the Peerless Music Project, myself and Rich, and how it also, because of that and because of the things that I was hoping would come along, was that I'd stepped down from the Hastings Rock Committee and was no longer chairman of Hastings Rock. Funnily enough, Hastings Rock is coming back next month, May the 3rd. And I'm still involved. People are saying, oh, are you leaving? You're not on there. And yes, I am. I'm still going to be a DJ on there. I'm still going to be doing the local music shows and plenty of other shows as well. So, and that will be quite strange going in there and not having any real involvement with it, as I have done for the last sort of 10 years or something like that. And that would be, actually, I think I've had involvement ever since I've been on the committee. Oh, sorry, I've been a DJ. I've actually been on the committee. So that will be a little bit strange. But there you go. But it should be enjoyable to walk in and not have any other worries and other things that might be going on and that sort of stuff. But since then, I'll say in the summer of last year, myself and Rich with the Peerless Music Project, we sort of trying to do lots of different things, had lots of different ideas, and even to the extent that we were very close to actually taking over the lease on a shop in the town. And the idea being to set up like a little musical hub for musicians and maybe do performances and run video workshops and try and do loads and loads of different things out of this. The whole page is full of ideas and all this sort of thing. That for various reasons never came to fruition, partly because we were having issues with the people who we were going to lease the shop from. We were going to get grants, business grants and that, and we were looking into that type of thing as well to try and set up something. Employ people apart from ourselves, and so try and create something else. But as I said, never really happened. But then myself and Rich last year had a little bit of involvement with a project in Hastings called the Hastings Fat Tuesday, which is all tied up with Mardi Gras. It's always around the Shrove Tuesday, Mardi Gras, whatever you want to call it, the day before Lent, call it that. And so we talking about that, and we did some stuff with the guys called Adam and Bob who run it, and got involved with them and talking to them about our ideas. They were interested in what we were doing as well. That particular festival, which is like a 5-day thing, has been growing over the 5 years. It's the 5th year was this year. And so that's been getting bigger and bigger, and they were getting to that point where, it's all volunteer-led, a bit like Peerless Music, a bit like Hastings Rock, you know how it is. Everyone's doing it for nothing, scrambling around, everybody trying to get things done. And they felt that they needed to push it forward. They had lots of ambition, lots of ideas, and they needed to do something because it was getting big, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more. I suppose there are expectations from other people as well. So left it at that, and then in about October of last year, I had a phone call from Adam, the man from Fat Tuesday, and I was thinking, I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to say, but things have moved on. We'll leave it for the moment. And say, what are you up to at the moment, Andy? Well, I said, well, no, I've got a part-time job and all this sort of stuff, trying to do the Peerless Music thing. He said, well, I've got an idea, I want to have a chat. So went and had a lunch in a pub. What better place to do it, eh? And, but ultimately what they were talking about doing was setting up a proper professional organisation. Charity was the idea at the time. Things have moved on a little bit since, but I'll come to that maybe in another video. And I said, we want to set this up. We want to sort of create a lot of the ideas that myself and Rich were talking about with the Peerless Music Project. But we want you to run this because we think that you know what you're doing. You've got all these ideas and you experience the local music. It was all to do with original sort of local music, something I've been playing on the radio for sort of 10 years and something that I've been sort of passionate and interested in over that particular time, and even before for that matter as well. So obviously it's one of those sort of job offers. I can't refuse this. This, the job offer from heaven sort of thing. I can't, an offer you can't refuse. It hasn't happened yet. We're still working on it. Lots of things to talk about in that respect, and that's something that will come in other videos. But one of the things that we started to do, because I said that if you're going to set this up, I think that you need to sort of set your stall and put something out there. They've got Fat Tuesday, you know, something that's a brand, if you want to call it that, very well known, very well respected in the town and further afield for that matter. And we had the Peerless Music thing, and there's a sort of an overlap definitely between the two. And I said, I think you need to have something else that sort of sets yourself out, you know, and says, right, these guys actually mean business, you know, they're doing something, they're moving forward. And with the Peerless Music Project, one thing that we wanted to do, myself and Rich especially, actually, to be fair to him, was to start up a fanzine, a little local music fanzine. Never happened once again. But I said, why not resurrect that idea? On we go, and now we're literally in the process of putting together and just about to issue the second edition of the Stinger magazine, which I've mentioned before, and I will do another video about how all that came about. So I think that we're definitely moving forward. There are lots and lots of things happening, loads and loads of ideas, some of which sort of going back to the old notebooks that I had that myself and Rich were talking about. Loads of things there, and things have got very, very busy. I was just reminded of that actually in a video comment saying, you know, one of the reasons that I used to make videos, I used to go out and do quite a lot of walking and getting out and about, and that was the time you do a lot of thinking, I suppose, and you turn on the camera and start talking, because I've been so busy doing other things, and in a good way, not moaning whatsoever, you know. That hasn't happened so much, but sort of making a realisation, all you have to do is get your phone out of your pocket, press record, and off you go. So that's the first sort of element, I suppose. That's the first sort of backstories. I thought that's probably the best thing before sort of cataloguing exactly what's happening now, is to maybe give a bit of information for those who are interested about what has happened in the past. So that's the first one. I'm sure there'll be others. Well, there will be. They'll have to be, because otherwise you won't be up to speed to know what's been going on. And the further reinvention of Andy. The next instalment will be whenever. I'll speak to you again soon. Goodbye.